Hello, besties! Welcome to Martinis with Eddie, the ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncork the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV shows. Yes, happy Friday and welcome. I have decided that tonight we're gonna do a Vanderpump Rules recap. We're gonna go and talk about all things Vanderpump Rules from this season, all the gossip, everything that's happening off camera, the whole thing until the latest episode. Because the latest episode was a freaking roller coaster. Like Lala said, it feels like we were taking a trip on acid. It was crazy. So many cringy moments that I want to talk about, especially comparing uh, what is being said on the show versus what we know right now, and how sometimes either I feel like producers knew or the cast member knew something was happening and they let it play it out for the show, or they decided to re-shot some stuff and re-edit the whole entire episodes from the mid-season all the way onto the finale. I want to know your opinion. I feel like the story, based on what we're watching right now, it feels interesting. The way that some of these people said that they didn't have any idea about, Rachel and Sandoval, but on the show now, everybody has a sixth sense, like a what's it called, the Spider-Man, a Spidey sense about the whole Rachel and Sandoval. Um, whew. Let's start by saying that Ken was unsurprised and shocked about Ken being the bone carrier of the whole scandal. I mean, pretty much he planted the seed for everybody else start questioning Tom Sandoval's and Rachel's friendship. The moment that man walked into that kitchen saying like, uh, Tom Sandoval had Rachel over her house while Ariana was away in the jacuzzi, Katie's ear went like whoop, like jacuzzi. What? What's happening here? Those little ears perk up, and you know that um, either she was waiting for the gossip to start so she can like chime in and start, putting her 2 cents, because you know that she's not in great terms with Tom Sandoval and Rachel at that point, regardless of Sandoval having an affair with Rachel being true or not. I'm pretty sure she felt like, oh my gosh, if this is true, this is crazy. Coming from the man who's been judging me this whole entire time, from the beginning of Tom Swartz's relationship with Katie. Which, by the way, I am not going to put out any questioning on Sandoval's sexuality. That's not my business. I don't care about that. People can do whatever they want with their life. Honestly, yeah, it's none of my business. But when the gossip and the rumors of Sandoval and Rachel starting to like kind of like hit the Bravo streets, I was more surprised that he wasn't cheating with Swartz than he was cheating with Rachel. I was like, wait a minute. Tom Sandoval makes more sense with Swartz than with Rachel. I was more shocked about that. But anyways, like I said before, I'm not gonna put any questioning on his sexuality. He can do what he wants. He can bang who he wants to bang. It was just, um, for so many years, I think many fans have seen Swords and Sandoval's friendship very like codependent. Like, and you can be best friends, you can have best friends and all the stuff, but there's such a weird codependency. Like, Tom Swartz marriage and with Katie kind of fell apart, big part because of Sandoval, always inserting his spoon in the Swords Katie drama. You know what I'm saying? That he was always involved in pushing Swords kind of like to be on his side instead of supporting his wife. I always found that very strange because what friend what friend is so involved in their friend's life to put the friend's relationship on the verge of freaking hatred between Katie and Tom Swords. I still believe that if Swords stood up for Katie a little more while they were together, they might be in a better place right now. They might have been together. They might stay together. They might have worked out their problems. But since every single time that uh, Swords needed to take a side between Sandoval and Katie, he always went with Sandoval. To me, that was and still is quite bizarre. Maybe it's just Swords' need of please everybody. He's like a little golden retriever. He's like a lap dog. And he gets away with a lot of his shit because people see him as this like very um kind of like harmless person, that he has these little puppy eyes and he just insert himself in things and make his way out without any scratches, you know? Like when he went to Mexico and Katie was having that dinner with Christina Kelly and Lala, and he walked to the table like almost like a puppy with his tail between his legs. He sat down and tried to eat Katie's food and tried to have this weird conversation that became really awkward, you know. Um, and that's what Katie said. Like, hey, you come here with your puppy eyes. Like, get out of here, you know. Um, the one that never can get away with that shit is Sandoval because Sandoval is the opposite. Sandoval is the more like risky business, the more like out there, the more, you know, I would call him kind of like a wolf. He's always on a prey. And I still believe that the reason why Ariana is thriving so hard right now, she is doing advertisement for Bloomingdale. She was at the Yankee Stadium. She was at the White House correspondent dinner. Um, People talk about Ariana in pretty much every single channel now. And I believe that the reason why she's thriving is not just because of the Scandoval situation where obviously all eyes are on Ariana because I mean obviously she is the one that got hurt the most on this mess, but also because she's not with Sandoval. Sandoval has the personality based on what we watch on the show. I don't know. I don't know Tom Sandoval in person. I met him once very briefly, hello, bye kind of situation at BravoCon. No, there's no deep connection between the two of us. So my opinion is very based on what I'm watching on the show. So based on that, I think Sandoval has the personality of somebody who needs to be on top of everything in the relationship, be the one thriving, being the one who's always following their dream, and their partner has to put their dreams in the back burner so they can thrive. For example, let's. I'm gonna pull out this little book that I have that I love, and let me cover the person that we don't like. This book fancy as fuck, fancy cocktails as fuck, right here, was supposed to be Ariana's cocktail book, right? It was her idea, it was her business, she got the deal. And what happened? We watched it on the show. Sandoval made his way into being part of it as like a co-writer. He felt like people would buy the book if he was involved in the production of the book somehow. And honestly, no. If Ariana had the opportunity to release that book on her own, she had the same platform as Sandoval, but he needed to be part of it so he could have the satisfaction of if the book succeeded, it was because he was involved. Now, fast forward to 2023 when the whole scandal shit happened and when Ariana is out there thriving, we realized that the true star of that duo was not Sandoval. And I said it from the beginning. I I was a huge fan of Sandoval. I always found him attractive. His personality was a little questionable because you know he has this weird vibe. It's like he's cool, but also can be a little bit of in the kind of like a mean girl vibe. Like he's trying to be the Regina George of the group kind of thing. He always had that vibe to me. But he was good looking. He had a talent, and he had Ariana on his side, who made him likable. Because before he was dating Ariana, he was just like Jax. He was Jax 2.0. The guy who was trying to be the number one guy in the group, doing anything possible to get people's attention. I I I got to that realization the moment that Ariana and Tom Sandoval broke up and this shit fell apart. Because you start to see, you know, each as an individual, not them as the power couple or the duo pack that you were buying from the show. When you think about Tom Sandoval and Ariana, you always thought about them as a team together. Uh, you will forgive some of Tom Sandoval's actions because Ariana will be there by his side trying to like clean the mess that he created. Like Aaron just said here right now, and I agree. Ariana was always too good for him, and we saw that on the latest episode. At the end of the episode, she said, and I'm gonna read this verbatim because I think this is what breaks my heart. She said, "I choose Tom over everyone. Like I ride or die for you." And then she continues saying, like, if you're not my number one fan, then I look like an idiot. Um, that's the reality of the whole thing. And Rihanna always chose Tom Sandoval over everybody else, no matter what shitty situation Sandoval created. Rihanna was there to clean that up, and we as viewers always put it, oh, it's just Sandoval being Sandoval. He can be that bad. It's true what Ariana is saying because Ariana was always there to like explain and make excuses for him. But now that she's not in the picture with Tom, we started to see Tom as the person that he truly is. Like now he's on a tour, right, with Van. And I read on obviously the media has been super shady because I mean that's what that reality. Um, Tom Sandoval is on a tour with his van, his, his band. I don't know why I keep saying van like the shoes. Anyways, uh, with his band, and they couldn't sell their last concert, so they were doing a buy one get the second one for free, like a 2 for 1 kind of situation, and still didn't sell out. Um, I mean, it's what he deserves. I mean, honestly, it's called karma. The headlines, even the headline of the article was like super shady. It reads as disgraced Tom Sandoval struggles to sell concert tickets. Venue offers 2 for 1 deal, and that's almost poetic. For honestly, that was kind of like a poem to his his this whole entire like fallout and how he destroyed his own career because before he was a cheating monster before he became this cheating monster, um, he was selling every single place he was going. He was selling out stuff. People were excited about his music. People were excited about going to Source and saying this. They also got hit with this whole mess. I mean, I'm not here I don't believe in canceling everything. You know, like some people are like, oh, I'm not gonna go eat here because Sandoval, whatever. No, I don't kind of like co-sign on that kind of behavior. Like, if you don't want to go to Source and Sandy, that's okay. I mean, that's the way that you think that okay, you're not gonna put money in his pocket, but at the same time, those businesses are, you know, somebody else's job too. Um, you know, if sourcing Sandy's fails, it also goes, the people who work there, all the bartenders, all the servers and stuff. So I think on when I try to kind of quote unquote boycott somebody, I just think of the repercussions on the people who actually work there. Because Source and Sandy, yeah, it's basically Tom and Tom's first restaurant together, but at the same time, it's basically them putting their name on it as the same as like Tom Tom's. They just put their name on it. They're just like a face for the restaurant. They're not really in the back cooking the food. They're not there to like do anything. They might go and make some cocktails once in a while because they have to do the whole social media and all the meeting the people who go there and saying hello because quote unquote they're the owners. But they have investors, they have people that work for them. If the restaurant fails, there goes their jobs too. So I don't think that people should like focus on that kind of stuff. Do I have a giggle because he's not selling tickets for the concert? Yeah, because that to me was a really expensive hobby that he got. I mean, we watched it on this season, on this a couple of episodes where he said that he's paying everything out of his pocket. So this is basically just an expensive hobby. He left Swords, and that's why Swords seems very upset too. He seems to have a kind of like a some resentment towards Tom Sandoval, and I think the reason is because he left. He left the restaurant to go on a tour. He basically, you know, said like, you can take care of the business. I'm gonna go toward the US with my band and just have fun in the process. And you take care of the rest. That's not what a real business partners do. If he wanted to tour the US with his band, go ahead and do it when the restaurant is finally open, when everything is running, when you have a menu, when you have an opening date. And I'm just talking about the opening part because that's what we're watching on the show. Obviously, we know that the restaurant is open and running right now. So he should have waited for now to go on tour because a restaurant opening a restaurant is not the hard part. Keeping the restaurant open is the harder part. And the first few months are very important for the survival of that place. You know, you don't get anything back from the money that you invested for at least like 3 or 4 years when you invest in a restaurant. But to make sure that the restaurant is running properly and it brings the attention from the public, from the media, from all the food people, you have to be very consistent the first few like 5 6 months. And instead of doing that, he focused on going on this like uh washed out rock star lifestyle by paying an expensive studio, by paying people to be in the band, uh, to have an ego stroke. Like he's literally just jerking off to himself at this point because it's like a low budget wedding cover band That's what it is. It's a wedding. It's you know those like cover bands you rent for like a wedding night type of thing. That's what it is. That's what Tom Sandoval and the extra whatever uh, really do. They just go from different from venue to venue singing somebody else's songs. And as we get more and more videos from like previous performances before the Sandoval and we start putting the pieces together, you see Rachel going to every single one of those concerts up front with her phone and Sandoval grabbing the phone and singing to the phone and acting like Romeo and Juliet, like madly in love, but obviously low key because nobody knew, which is really funny to me because even as an outsider, if I didn't know what's happening and I saw that, I will start questioning, and that's why I think Ali, being somebody who was not directly involved with this group until recently, she was the first one who sniffed the weirdness in their dynamic. Like going out at 1 in the morning to the Abbey by themselves, dancing. Like it doesn't add up to me. You know, the best part of the latest episode, and I truly enjoyed it, was the editing of the first segment when Lala uh and James are talking and the editors they just put everything like a fast forward, like an old school VHS. And for those who are listening, maybe the Gen Zs who are listening to the podcast right now and don't know what a VHS are, the VHS were tapes, these huge ass tapes where we used to watch movies at home. It was before the DVD players, and each tape had like at least like maybe an hour and a half of movie. And if the movie was longer than 2 hours, you will get like two VHS so you can watch it. Like if you had the Titanic, it came in two VHS. So um and it looked like when you fast forward a VHS, it just kind of shows everything very grainy and moving fast, but really, really grainy. That's what the editing of the last episode was, and I loved it. I really loved how they put the voiceover and the fast forward images and the way that they go from Lisa Vanderpump's house when Ken walked in and tells them that he heard about Tom Sandoval having um, Rachel over at the jacuzzi and that she stayed over because then she went the next day to work late because she had to go back and get her stuff. And then they fast forward to Lala talking about the time the Sandoval was at the party and Ariana's grandmother passed, and she called Tom asking him to leave and to be with her. Instead, she stayed like 2 or 3 extra hours because he was with Rachel. And that's when Lala was like, okay, this is more than just a friendship. He's acting like he truly has something for her. And she said it. My spidey sense is tingling, and I think there's something more understandable has feeling for Rachel. That's when she caught it at that party. But the editing deserve an Emmy, and the editing deserve an Oscar. The editing deserve a Grammy. Every single one of those award shows that the editor should be nominated and winning every single award because it was just genius. It was chef kiss. It was such a chef kiss moment. I watched that scene like 5 times just because I was enjoying it so much. The way that they just kind of like recap all the events in such a amazing way to me was mind blowing. Top top moment from Vanderpump Rules in all their 10 seasons. It was really freaking amazing. Good job to the producers, good job to the editors. Their flowers needs to be given. They better get a raise. I'm here for it, and I'm hoping to see more of that style for like upcoming season or upcoming episodes. Talking about cringy moments is when Rachel is talking about Ariana, Tom Sandoval, Tom Swartz, Sheena, and Brock on her confessional when they were out in the desert. She said that those are her forever friends. I I call that delusion. I call that very sad. It was really cringy because we know now that she was fucking Sandoval at that point, right? And she was saying this about Ariana too. She was telling her how much she loved her and all this stuff. I'm like, you do not fuck your best friend's boyfriend. And then you go around saying that, oh my God, these are my forever friends. Either she's missing a screw up here or she just doesn't care for anyone. Because if she does that to her forever friends, quote unquote, I don't know. I don't want to be her enemy. Another cringy moment was when Katie was mentioning how Tom Sandoval went after her, and I want to read exactly what he said. He said to Katie, this was in the previous episode when they went to the bar after the beach party. He said, you know what? You shouldn't be with somebody for who you want them to be. You should be with them for who they fucking are. Those were his words. And I wrote on my Instagram, he should listen to his own advice. And you wonder why I'm saying this. When people started saying that Sandoval was, on the verge of breaking up with Ariana, was exactly for that reason. He wanted to turn Ariana into somebody that she already said that she didn't want to be. Um, People keep saying, "Oh, it's Ariana's fault because she didn't want to get married, or she didn't have kids, or she didn't want to have kids right now, and that is not what Tom's want, and whatever." And I'm gonna say one thing: Tom Sandoval had the opportunity to break up with Ariana the moment that he realized that they want two different things in life, and that would have been the right thing to do, and that would have made him the bigger man. Instead, he accepted her request. He agreed on the fact that Ariana didn't believe in institutional marriage and that parenting or having kids was not on her plans. So, if he said, "Okay, I love you and I want to stay with you no matter what," then he just should accept that and follow his advice when he said, "You know what? You shouldn't be with somebody for who you want them to be." Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's quite upsetting though when I read those excuses because I'm not here and I'm not trying to make Scandoval my whole entire personality because I've seen it many people out there using a Scandoval for likes, for comments, for followers, for podcast listeners and stuff like that, and that's all good and everything because that's what the Bravo content is supposed to be. But you can tell the difference between somebody who just wants to digest the drama and process it and share their opinion, instead make this whole entire thing about themselves and make this whole entire thing the whole entire personality. And to me, that doesn't read so well. That's why when I'm sharing these opinions are just from the perspective of like, you know what, Sandoval fucked up, and I just want the best for Ariana. Period. Cheating happens all the time. Cheating happens all the time, and some people survive the cheating. Some people break up because cheating. Um, but in my opinion, if Sandoval had the balls, the grown man balls, to speak with Ariana and explain to her why they should break up instead of making her go to therapy, making her start thinking maybe we should have kids now because we've seen it right now on this episode where she's talking about, you know, fertilizing the eggs so they can have embryos in case that they want to be parents. So he already put that on her shoulders. He already uh, moved the needle towards her changing things that she, changing a little bit her mentality and kind of like say, okay, Sandal, you want kids? Let's work something out. He went along with that, and at the end, his lies caught up with him, and he hurt Ariana in the process, and that's fucked up. I don't think that somebody's pain should be used for clickbait. We can all have opinions and we can all um, you know put our 2 cents in the conversation, but there has to be a point where all we have to do is wish well to Ariana and wish Sandoval disappear from the face of the planet, and I mean like he's not on our TV, he's not back on Pump Rules. I hope that for the next season there is a little bit of shakeup. I've been saying it even before the whole scandal, before this season started. I said, and I said it with Summer House too. Some of these cast members having real life issues like marriage, like divorce, like having kids. Those issues don't fit into the dialogue of the show. Summer House started as a show about people in their mid 20s, early 30s going to the Hamptons, get drunk, having drama, but petty drama, go back to the city, work, and then go back to the house and party. Vanderpump Rules was the show of a group of struggling actors working in a restaurant, trying to pay the bills, and we see them growing in the show and becoming successful on their own. At this point, those main characters have adult adult issues. They even have drama on the same level as the housewife, like scandals, like Lala and Randall, or whatever his name is. Um, that scandal that they had when the divorce and the reasoning behind the divorce and all the things that we found out about you know uh Randall being part of like a couch uh casting type of thing or whatever. That is housewife level drama. That's not the kids from the sore uh alleyway fighting over you know some dumb stuff and just going home and do some like voodoo or witch the witches of weho kind of thing. That is way past that. So I do believe the production should start looking into creating two different shows. I believe the Vanderpump Rules should focus into a new set of waiters and waitresses and whatever working for Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants, and then we have a separate show for the OGs like Lala, like Sheena, like Katie, and Ariana and their friends. Call it whatever, the Witches of WeHo. That's actually kind of cool name. Because at this point, none of these people work at SOAR or at any restaurant, perhaps. You know, Katie and Ariana are opening a restaurant on their own. Something about her, the sandwich shop. That is a whole storyline on their own. That is something that I want to watch. And if we create a show around them and their friends, that would be great. Um, if the Toms didn't fuck up the way they did, I would have said, you know what, create a show around the Tom Toms and build around them and bring Sheena and bring the other ones to that show. But I don't want that anymore because obviously they're fucking stupid and they are not in good grace with the public. So that doesn't make any sense. There's no redeeming quality for a show like that. Talking about redeeming qualities, Lala always have like the best confessional lines. They were talking about, Sandoval and Rachel being best friends and all the stuff, and the way that Rachel had said that when she has alcohol in her system, she kind of becomes a little, you know, flirtatious with the man. And she says, I know better than anybody that when you have a dude who's your best friend, who's there during difficult times, and then you add alcohol, you end up sitting on their face. And that to me is just fucking Lala classic. I love it. She has a quick mind, a sharp tongue, and she's not afraid to use it the same way that James Kennedy has the same quality. James Kennedy is a messy, messy man in a good way. There was a scene on the latest episode when when Ariana, Lala, and Tom Sandoval are talking, and it's when Lala tells Ariana that Sandoval stayed at the party for longer, not because he couldn't find a taxi, just because that wasn't the reason. It was because he just wanted to stay there with Rachel, and she wanted and Ariana confronting him because he told her a different story. In that moment when the confrontation starts, you see James Kennedy in the background walking and passing by it, and he noticed the conversation and he stopped in frame right between Ariana and Sandoval, stayed there snooping around and listening to the conversation. Was the funniest thing I ever seen because it it seems like it was planned, but you know that it just Kennedy being Kennedy, and he is so unintentionally funny. There was another confessional that I laughed so hard that it was when he was explaining Rochella. He was like, I mean, it was an epic proposal. It was wasted on you. He said that on his confessional. I I think the engagement was a great idea. I just feel like the name was just horrible. Rochella. Oh God, that was and they keep saying that all the time. Like it's like this like event. Like Rachel was saying like, "Oh, you said that you regret doing Rochella," and he replied, "Yeah, because Rochella was my idea, and now whatever." But Rochella and Rochella, and I'm like, "Shut up with the Rochella." Is such an ugly ass name for a proposal. Um, one one of the things that really made me cringe a lot is the whole entire trip to the desert with Sandoval, Ariana, Sheena, Brock, Swords, and Rachel. Because the whole entire time, the whole entire scene is basically Tom professing his love for Rachel low key, obviously, because he's with Ariana right there. He kept saying, I'm so proud of you. You're such a great person. You're a hero. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you really are in love with this lady, aren't you? And then it's Ariana always defending Rachel. She was talking to Sheena, and she was saying like, Katie was saying all this stuff about Rachel, and I get it. Katie hates her, and Ariana says Rachel is my friend, and she's someone that is kind and sweet and loyal. And I'm here watching it, saying like, girl, only if you knew what was happening at that point. At that point, she was already with your boyfriend behind your back. She ain't loyal. That's one thing. She ain't loyal. She ain't a good friend. And that happened more than once in this last episode when she specifically said that she trusts Rachel, that that's her friend, um, and everybody else is just being mean to her, and she's so innocent and so nice. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope you're not watching. I hope Ariane is not watching this season with us. I'm pretty sure she had to watch the episodes for the reunion because what happened is when they film the reunion before the season ends, which happens most of the time, Bravo sends all the screeners and all the episodes to the cast members for them to watch it ahead and be prepared for questions and stuff like that for the reunion. That's what normally it happens. That's why some of the stuff get leaked because a lot of people get a hand of those screeners before they air and they uh they think it's fun to post them for for clicks and maybe for some ego stroke because people start saying, oh my gosh, you have connections and all this stuff. My advice to people who probably are new to the game, if somebody gets you a screener for any episode, you can maybe hint that you watched it. You can maybe throw a little poop, like a little seed, and kind of water it a little bit so it kind of blossom just a little bit. Do not post the whole thing because a Bravo will find out who gave it to you, and then you're gonna lose that contact, and the trust is broken. That's my advice to anyone who wants to get involved in this Bravo universe. If you ever go from fan of the show to receive tips and videos from screeners or be able to watch the episode beforehand, be smart because that happened with Vanderpump Rules and it's being investigated. Somebody got a hand on the finale trailer. I'm pretty sure they got to watch every episode all the way to the finale because this leak happened this last week, and obviously, like I said before, a lot of the people who are involved in the cast they get the videos beforehand for the reunion, right? Um, what this person did not know was that Bravo had two different finale trailers. And when the leak happened, Bravo scrambled, obviously, in the Bravo headquarters to then just release the finale trailer because it was leaked. And Bravo posted that they are doing an investigation to find out who leaked it. And I'm sure they're not only going after the cast or the production person who gave access to it, to whoever leaked it, they're gonna find out who that person is. And you don't want to be on Bravo's bad side. This is a multi-million-dollar network. I honestly don't like when like trailers are leaked and stuff like that. I prefer to wait until the high definition is released. If it's a photo, if it's like a screenshot, or for example, when the housewife do the cast photos and somebody get a hand on them before the media, I don't care about that. We're gonna get it. We all post those. We all go in a post uh, uh, competition to see who posts the same photo over and over again. We see it whenever we get new cast photos. You scroll through the whole entire Twitter feed, and it's like every post is the same, just the pictures, and that's fine. But when it comes to like the show as it is, like trailers and stuff, I will be more careful, and I would prefer for either Bravo to release it or Bravo's, like sources like People or E News or E Entertainment or whatever or Page Six. I don't know. Whatever they use to release their media packages, I wait until they do it. We get the HD, we watch the HD, we because the one that was leaked was like grainy and whatever. But we know that that finale trailer, gosh, that was a freaking roller coaster. That is insane. That is nuts, and I'm excited to be heading towards that finale because, like I said before, I'm going to have a whole panel, like 5 different content creators to join me every week of the season finale. I mean, the reunion of Vanderpump Rules. We're gonna get here and give all our opinions. It's gonna be so much fun. I have a list of people who are already interested, people that you love, people who have been here before, and we're gonna have an amazing time talking about all things Vanderpump. Um, at the party, at the end of the episode, Christina Kelly has a party for the release, like of like the launching of her like skincare products and stuff like that. You see Ariana, Tom, and Rachel walking in together. Katie and Lala kind of make a comment like, "Oh my gosh, like it's like a tropo. What's happening here?" And Katie and Ariana have a conversation, right? They are talking about the fact that Ariana did not appreciate the Katie talking about their relationship, like, oh, they having an open relationship, and Katie's like, yeah, but that's not what I meant, because Ali was the one who was passing around the information. I I feel bad for Ariana at that point because in every single scene that she is involved regarding this open relationship conversation, all that she says about Rachel is just how loyal and how a big of a friend she is, and it is just heartbreaking because you see Ariana who just lost her grandma and also lost her pet, now struggling with her friends because her friends are saying that that she's in an open relationship and already seeing maybe something is happening between Sandoval and Rachel, which they were not far off in their feelings. That's the sad part. The sad part is that even though the way that Lala and Katie were, kind of like talking about this, it is kind of like, you know, I don't know, it can be a little weird and damaging when you talk about somebody else without proof, like talking about Sandoval and Rachel, even though they were right. At that point, people were not sure. So that's why I feel for Ariana because deep inside, she probably was like, why are my friends doing this to me? Why are they talking about my relationship in this kind of way? Like, I don't understand it. That's what I think is going through her mind. And on top of that, you have the fact that she lost her grandma, she lost her pet, and she even said it on a confessional. She was struggling mentally and emotionally. So maybe she felt like her friends are piling on her and not helping with her personal struggles at that point. It was a crazy episode. It was really cringy, and especially because we had watched the development of Scandoval before the show ended. Do I believe that the production might have had re-edited some episodes and added some stuff for us viewers to start to get a hint? There is a chance. TV works like that. Even Andy Cohen has said on his show that when he was watching this episode, especially the last one, he called production to ask, "Hey, do you guys re-edit this episode because it seems really fishy?" They said no, but a lot of people are questioning if we are watching the version that they were going to air before Scandoval exploded. And since that happened, like I was saying before, everybody else it's in different places. For example, Sandoval is a disgraced uh, frontman for a cover band that can barely sell a small theater, and Ariana is out there living her best life, being the White House correspondent. And it was so funny because they were even mentioned on the speeches at the White House correspondent dinner. You also have Ariana going to Coachella with a new boo. Yes, she is. Ariana is thriving. She has a new man in life. She was spotted in New York City yesterday. She was shopping. Some people said that um, they were at a restaurant and they were talking about Rachel in a way that it was not the best light, you know. Um, and I think that's very fair. You know what I'm saying? It happens, and I'm just happy to see her moving on. I think the best way to describe the situation is the fact that Ariana is not Sandoval's shadow anymore, and she is doing everything for herself now. Like I said before, she has a new boo. Her name is Daniel Y. Uh, he owns a fitness center in New York City. People started to follow their stories since they posted really cute photos at Coachella, and then we saw them in New York City when she was filming and shooting for Bloomingdale's. People said she is in New York City. He lives in New York City. They started to link everything, and um, I think they have good match. They have more chemistry than Sandoval and Ariana had before. I think it has to do also because it's new, it's exciting, so maybe that's why. But it seems like their PDA is more sincere and more I don't know. It makes more sense. Uh, Sandoval kept saying that Ariana didn't want to have sex with him, but based on what I've seen on the show and what she had said, especially in the latest episode, she mentioned like he is gone a lot. She's working, and then she comes home, and it's not the same, you know. And that type of kind of down and lows in a relationship happens to everybody, but she was trying to make it work. She wanted that to work. So I truly believe that this guy Daniel is a better fit for Ariana. Do we know if Tom Sandoval and Rachel are still a thing? We don't know because one side of the party are saying that they are together, the other side are saying that they are not. To me, that's like a PR stunt. Like they're trying to keep their relationship as low key as possible to see if the public changes their opinion. They had tried it, with the whole going to a mental health uh, retreat because it's not like a like when you go for um, to those places for like alcohol, like rehab. It's not like a rehab place like people started to say at the beginning. This is a mental health wellness place. Like you get massages, You drink cocktails, you have a good time, you relax. It's more like, oh, I'm stressed out. I'm gonna go here and have a great weekend. That's what it was. This is not like rehab. This is different, you know. Also, Sandoval did a very awkward and very weird interview, and it didn't go well because the questions were not coming from a place that the host knew what he was talking about. You know, it was quite embarrassing because I am a content creator, right? And I don't do this because I'm getting paid for. I'm doing it because I enjoy doing this and talking to all you guys who join me every twice a week, 3 times a week, just to chitty chat about Bravo. And the fact that somebody who actually gets paid to do an interview, um, I mean, how the hell Howie Mandel, who gets paid for this whole entertainment stuff that he does, how the hell he went ahead and had an interview with Sandoval when he obviously have never watched the show and he didn't even know who Sheena was. Like, come on. As a Bravo viewer, as a Bravo holic, and as a Bravo content creator, that was offensive because we spend time watching these shows, getting to know these people, sitting every week at the same time to just enjoy the show. And we had the answers to the basic asked question that he made. And the excuses that he was making for Sandoval, and just because they seemed to be friendly, he was always, oh, it's not your fault, oh, and all this stuff. And who's Sheena? Embarrassing. To me, it was a really bad move from Sandoval to do that because it looked so unauthentic. He spent half of the interview blaming Ariana and her mental health, using Ariana's mental health as a weapon, which is not a good look and is really, really disgusting. It's I don't know, definitely not a good move. I watched it like 2 days later because I was not wanting to watch it, but I decided to watch it so we could talk about it here on my podcast. I did a little recap whenever he aired a couple of weeks ago. So if you are interested in more details on it, you can find it there. Um, but yeah, it's upsetting when you are trying to clean your image, but instead you are trying to throw the person that you hurt under the bus by using her mental health as an excuse. Unacceptable. Be a better man. Well, if you can, because what Sendo has done is just really the low of the low. Before I go, I wanna give my opinion and something related about Vanderpump Rules, and it's the closing of Pump. One of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants in LA. A lot of people online are saying this because Lisa is not as successful anymore or because Lisa is failing in her restaurant business. My opinion, my sincere opinion is this, and I also made a post on Twitter so people know what I'm talking about. Lisa Vanderpump, who has a restaurant empire, closing one restaurant doesn't mean that she's failing. It means that she's focusing on something else that is more profitable for her business, aka her businesses in Las Vegas. She opened Vanderpump Paris in Vegas, which is absolutely beautiful, which is definitely, definitely more profitable than Pump. Also, let's not forget this is one thing that most people don't understand, especially if you're not from a big city. During the pandemic and after the pandemic, many restaurant businesses closed down. Businesses that were steady, uh, you know, restaurant, they've been open for decades. For decades. Restaurant was like 50, 40, 30 years, running strong restaurants. People love those restaurants. Those businesses are gone because of the pandemic and because of landlords skyrocketing their rents to get some money back from the losses that they had during the pandemic. Lisa Vanderpump said that one of the reasons why she's closing down Pump is because the rent was getting too high or the rent change. The landlord came out and said that that was not true, that they didn't have any changes. It was more like um, there was rent unpaid. Honestly, I take Lisa Vanderpump's side, and I'm gonna tell you why. Not just because I love Lisa Vanderpump, but because I'm not going to believe a landlord, because landlords are not gonna tell you the truth about their businesses. That is 100% true. Especially like I said before, if you live in a big city, landlords are sneaky as fucks. They are not here to care for nobody. They are not your friends. They are people who are given a space for you to live and you pay them. And if you don't pay them, they can kick you out. And commercial rental is easier to vacant the business occupying it than residential rentals. Like people who rent apartments and houses and stuff like that, they can get away with not paying rent and still be able to stay in the house, unless there is a court uh, paper saying you need to leave, or the cops are gonna come and remove you from the property. But a commercial business has different um, kind of like ways of making sure that people pay their rent and making ways that they can get rid of them if they do not. So, what I get from this whole mess is the fact that Lisa just decided to invest on bigger, more profitable, and even smarter choices, because the taxes, if she is going to invest in Vegas, taxes in Vegas are way lower than Los Angeles. And also, opening a restaurant in a hotel in Vegas requires less work than opening a standalone restaurant in a business, like in a regular restaurant. When it's part of a hotel, the hotel have also a team that work with you. The hotel has, you know, different um, kind of deals with you. You can get a much more money with less work, even promoting the restaurant. Because what happened when Vanderpump opened her restaurant in Vegas, the hotel has access to so much network, just the hotel by itself. So, and it's a win-win for both sides, because people who want to go to eat at Vanderpump Paris stay at the hotel So it's easier just to go down and eat there and get reservations for the restaurant. So it's a win-win. It's a different structure and honestly a smart move from Vanderpump. And like I posted, this is just me being shady. So please don't get people who like Kyle Richards. Please don't get offended. But this is just me being shady. I posted also that what I noticed is that a lot of people who are shading or mocking LVP for closing Pump are Kyle Richards fans. And my question is, where are Kyle Richards' Moo shops? Are they open or are they closed? How many of those little moo shops they have at the moment? Because last time I checked, Vanderpump still has multiple restaurants running, just as successful. The one in the ones in LA, the one in Vegas, opening more in Vegas. I see a successful businesswoman right there that doesn't need to be mocked because she's closing one restaurant. It happens all the time. But my question for those who are making fun of her, because obviously they like Kyle, my question is, where are Kyle Richards' Mumu shops? And if you have an address where I can go and see it, I will appreciate it because when I go to LA or when anywhere this shop is located, I will do it. I remember when Kyle had one like in New York, one in the Hamptons, one in Beverly Hills, and they closed all three at the same time because rent. So, and that happened what like 2010, I believe, 2011, whenever she started doing the Mumu thing. So that was just me being shady. It's just being my shady self. So please don't be offended. Just laugh. It's a joke. And if you're enjoying these jokes, my shady self, if you agree and disagree, you know where to find me at Martini with Eddie on Instagram and Twitter for the extra tea. You can also find my podcast on every single platform where you listen to your podcast. So please subscribe and rate because we as podcasters, the only way to survive is by you guys showing us love by subscribing and rating. Also, you can find my YouTube channel where you can join me every time that I go live and share your opinions on the live chat. Like Aaron, thank you so much for being here. And Kane Kardobov, I see you too. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here tonight. And you guys have a great weekend. I truly appreciate you guys and love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for staying this whole entire time listening to my ranting on Vanderpump Rules this week. Um, and like I said, always said, grab your drink, enjoy the weekend, and bye, besties.